Honourable Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for that question. Honourable Speaker, we've been having discussions with multilateral partners, also with bilateral partners. As you know, there are many countries around the world that have actually ordered vaccines more than their needs within their own country. Nevertheless, countries such as, for example, Australia and New Zealand have indicated to us that they're willing to actually help us in our procurement. But we've also, as a government, we made it very clear to COVAX that we are willing to actually purchase the vaccines ourselves. We are very clear there also that we want to vaccinate 650,000 Fijians, and the first 20%, as we have heard from the ministerial statement, is coming through the COVAX facility, 15% free and 5% subsidized, which the Fijian government is paying for. Honourable Speaker, as we speak, there are a few vaccines that have been certified, so as to speak, by the WHO. They are the Pfizer vaccine, which is requiring an extra ultra cold chain. It's predominantly being used in America and also initially in Israel and some other countries. The AstraZeneca, which we have used here in Fiji, which has been it's been safe for us and safe in many other countries around the world. And the ones that are manufactured in India, AstraZeneca, is called Covishield. We also have the Moderna vaccine, and also just recently the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is thought to be a game changer in the sense that you only require one vaccination instead of two. So the other vaccines, they require at least initially 21 days, but now they're talking about anywhere between 8 to 12 days between the vaccines. Honourable Speaker, every country in the world at the moment want to be able to access vaccine. The other night, when I left Parliament here at about 12 midnight, we are part of what is called the Access to COVID Tools Facilitation Council. Fiji is represented on that council. So we had a meeting, and one of the biggest things that is an issue at the moment is access to vaccines. Access to vaccines is an issue that a lot of countries around the world are having. It was interesting because also in that discussion, there are countries around the world that are wanting oxygen. They're wanting steroids for the treatment of people with COVID-19 because they have community transmission. And so, whilst all the countries in the world want access to vaccine, there are countries, low middle income countries, and countries in Africa, for example, and countries in other places where they have community transmission of COVID-19, where they're really wanting other medicines and oxygen apart from the vaccine itself. And then it itself is like you might say, a triple burden in a sense, because they're not only wanting vaccine, but also the ability to be able to treat those that have COVID-19. Honourable Speaker, we've made it very clear that in our discussions with COVAX, they were going to supply the first 30% within the first quarter. As we have alluded to, we are hoping that 88,000 doses will arrive very shortly. We're also talking with our ability to be able to get the whole vaccine. So we've panned out that the whole of this year, in essence, will be about getting vaccines. We've also seen with what's happening with vaccine hoarding that's happening. These are first world countries that are hoarding vaccines from one another. I've just read in the news very early this morning that there was found in Italy that there was a couple of million doses of the vaccine that the rest of the European Union didn't know. And it's becoming a grab across the world. And that is something that countries such as ours are really pushing on the diplomatic and on the global stage, that we can't have that every country is affected, whether you're big or small, and therefore it is important that vaccine equity is something that we all push. And I think one of the things that's becoming very clear, and that's one of the reasons, and I've alluded to in the minister's statement today, that we received the first doses of vaccine in the Pacific, is because we have a house in order, because we've got the paperwork in place, because we are COVID-19 contained. And that's why I also encourage us, and I thank the honourable members who have registered in the last few days. It is important that we do our registration, that we are ready, that we show to COVAX, we also show to those who will be able to give us the vaccine, that we are ready to receive the vaccines as they come. And I want to make it also very clear to this August House, Honourable Speaker, and to the nation at large, that the Fijian government, just like it's been doing with all the vaccinations that we use for our children, will only bring vaccinations that have been certified by WHO. And lastly, just to Honourable Lalapalavu raised the issue in his reply to the ministerial statement this morning, the concerns about the data that was taken from the individuals in terms of registering for the vaccine. I want to also make it very clear that that information, as I've said in the minister's statement, is only important for the data managers to actually do the stratification. That's the importance of the information that's put in. For the data managers to be able to help us with the risk stratification. The first cab of a rank is the frontline health workers and their families, followed by the vulnerable groups, then followed by all of those above 60, then lastly 18 to 60 years old. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Well, thank you.